In this video, we will show you how to replace your rear window regulator on this Ford F-150. This will be located inside of your rear door. Let's get into it. Okay, friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we need to do is make our way underneath this plastic panel. To do that, I'm using a plastic trim tool. We'll just gently make our way in between this small groove and separate this. Now, once you have that separated, the next thing we want to do is disconnect our electrical connector that we can see along the bottom side there. To disconnect this, you're going to find you have a locking tab right over here. Go ahead and squeeze that in and we'll slide this down and out of place. A quick inspection for corrosion, of course. That looks good. We'll have a quick peek at that switch. We'll set this aside. We're going to start removing the door panel. To do that, we're going to start up along this upper corner. This is just a separate panel. I'm using a plastic trim tool so I can pry this out of place. There we are. Along the back side, you can see our two locking tabs. With that out of place, it exposes our first mounting screw holding our door panel in place. I'm using a 1/4-inch socket for this. Now there's going to be several other mounting screws. We're going to start behind the inside door handle. You're going to find a small trap door. Using a pocket screwdriver or a small pick, go ahead and remove that. We'll remove it from the top and roll it out of place. Once that's out of place, it exposes our two 8mm headed mounting bolts. We'll remove the pair. Now let's move down along the bottom of the door panel. We'll find that we have two more bolts. We're using a 1/4-inch socket for these. Now we're moving to our last mounting bolt. This is going to be a 10mm headed bolt, and it's tucked up and inside this area, just below our inside door handle. Now continuing on, I like to have the door in the locked position. I'm going to take hold of the door panel and gently start lifting it up. We have to lift it high enough to make its way up and over the door lock knob. Now that we have that off, we can see our inside door handle cable. We're going to start separating that from the inside door handle itself. For this, I like to take hold of the cable end right where this white adapter is, and we'll pull it out towards this groove. As we start pulling this away, we'll also start pulling the cable out through this portion as well. If you find you have a hard time, you can gently pry it out of place. I'm just using a small pocket screwdriver for that. Go ahead and remove the rest of that cable and we'll set our door panel aside. Now that we have the door panel out of the way, we have a clear view of the inside area here. This is our vapor barrier. We're going to have to remove this to gain access. To do that, I like to start with my wiring harness. For that, I'm just going to go ahead and pry it out of place. I'm using a trim tool. Next, we're going to remove our door speaker. This is held in place with four 5.5mm headed mounting screws. Take hold of that door speaker. We're going to give it a spin so we can have a look at the electrical connector along the back side. Up along the top area here, I can see my locking tab. I'm going to squeeze that in and pull this out of place. Once you have it disconnected, of course, a quick inspection for corrosion along each one of the contact points there. This looks good. We'll tuck that inside. Now we can remove that plastic vapor barrier. We do want to reuse this, so be careful not to tear it. As you start removing it, just keep in mind that the sealant holding it on can be very sticky. Ours is dried out. It's dry and brittle. A quick inspection of your vapor barrier and set it aside. The next thing we have to do is make sure that we secure our window in the upright position. We don't want it falling down. For this, you can use something as basic as painter's tape. Just gonna make my way up and over the door, bring the tape down the window. Keep in mind, tape is a lot cheaper than glass. Use as much as you feel as though is needed. After you've secured that window, so you're sure there's no way it's going to come down on its own, we're going to continue on with the 2 pieces of mounting hardware holding this in position. Along each side of the window regulator, you're going to find that you have a small clamshell looking hook that squeezes up against the window. It squeezes when it's tightened with the mounting bolt. So for this, we're just going to use a 10mm to loosen each one of the 2 10mm mounting bolts. You do not need to fully remove them. After loosening both of those, the next thing we're going to do is carefully start powering the window regulator down. We don't need to go very far, we just want to separate those 2 clamshell looking clamps from the window itself. Obviously, be extremely careful, nothing can be inside of this door while you continue on. We have the key in the on position. We're going to reconnect our window switch. At this point, we have the key in the on position, we're reconnecting our window switch, and we'll start powering the window down. Nothing that doesn't belong inside the door is there. We have the window regulator coming down and away, and we can see those mounting areas. After turning off key power, we're back inside this area. We're going to disconnect the electrical connector, but prior to doing that, if there's any type of holding area, you want to go ahead and remove that as well. For this, we just have a wire tie in place, so I'm going to use some cutters to cut it out. Now we can disconnect our electrical connector. It has a locking tab. Squeeze it in and pull the 2 parts apart. A quick inspection for corrosion, these look fine. We're moving up from there. Now next to this rectangular port, we can see that we have a cable behind here. This is part of the window regulator. We need to dislodge it from its mounting point. For this, you can just use some pliers. I have needle nose pliers, but pretty much anything will work. We'll squeeze in on those locking ears and pull it out of place. I'll pull this up so you can have a quick look at what we had there. It's time to continue on to our 5 pieces of 10mm headed mounting hardware. We'll start here in the center. Now along each side of the door, you're going to find that you have 2 10mm headed mounting bolts holding your window regulator in place. For each side, loosen the top mounting bolt, leave it in just a couple threads, and continue on to the lower portion. There's that. Let's go ahead and start it back in. We can see that there is a circular slot here for this to make its way up and through during the removal process. Plenty of movement on this side. Let's repeat the process on the opposite side next. That one's loose. All right, let's start getting this out of here. Be very careful for any pinch points inside of the door. There it is, friend. Now it's time to prepare the brand new window regulator for installation. We want to make sure that we pay attention to all 4 of the mounting bolts that hold the window regulator to the door itself. You'll find that our regulator came with brand new ones, but they need to be loosened. For each of these, we can just go ahead and loosen them up. We want to leave them in a couple threads. Now after you've loosened those, we're going to continue on to the 2 mounting points that hold the window in place. We want to make sure that those 2 window clamps are open so our window glass can slide inside. Let's get this in the vehicle. Okay, now we can install this inside of the door. We'll get this in position. We need to align each side of the window regulator with the corresponding ports on the door. Just going to attempt to slide this in here. Just as with the removal process, it's going to be a tight fit. Should all slide in there though. Now I can see I've got this aligned with my upper port. Before I start sliding it down, I need to align the lower port as well. This side's looking good so far. Let's continue on to the other side. With all those started in, we're making our way towards the center of the window regulator. We have another 10mm headed bolt. We just want to make sure it's properly aligned. You can reach along the back side. They're all started in, let's snug them up. I'm starting with the center and we'll make our way out. Now we're going to continue on to the electrical wiring harness next. Let's align the locking tabs in the corresponding area, press it in, listen for a click. After that audible click, a light tug, and make sure that you secure this in the proper area. So I'm going to be using a wire tie. Just make my way right through that circular port. We'll make sure we get this tucked up in where it needs to be. At this point, we're going to prepare to secure the window regulator to the window glass. We want to have the key in the on position. Once again, make sure nothing is inside of the door that might potentially get damaged or hurt throughout this process. The key's on, we're going to start powering up the window regulator. After confirming everything's properly seated, let's go ahead and tighten those 10mm mounting bolts holding this together. Okay, that bottomed out. We'll just take it a tiny bit further. Repeat the process for the other side. Once the window is secured to the window regulator, you can remove the tape or whatever you have holding the window up. Now let's put the key in the on position and test the functionality with the window installed on the regulator. Now we've got the key in the on position, we're as safe as possible. Let's go ahead and test the functionality. Perfect. Go ahead and turn off key power and we can remove our window switch. Now, as you remember during the removal process, inside of this rectangular port, we had an area that was holding a cable in place. I'm using a wire tie. I'm just going to go right around that cable. For this, essentially, we're just trying to make sure that the cable does not hit up against the window when the window goes up and down. Just trim this off. Dispose of that properly. When we go to install the vapor barrier, we're going to pay attention inside of the speaker port. We had this wiring harness. That has to go through this slotted area. Now we're going to continue up along the top area. We have our cable for the inside door handle that fits through this slot. And then in the top corner, you have the area for your lock knob. After that, you would just continue on pressing the vapor barrier into its original positioning. Now up above the speaker port, we're going to connect this connector into its mounting port. Now it's time for our speaker. We're going to start with our wiring harness. Just go ahead and line up that tab. Audible click, light tug. Let's get this in position. Once you have it in position, you're going to continue on with all 4 of your mounting bolts. Now it's time to install our door panel. We're paying attention to the back side. We have our inside door handle cable. Let's start getting that in position. It slides down in here, makes its way across this groove, and then locks into this portion. Once you press it in, give it a wiggle. You do not want this sliding out of place while you're driving down the road. After that, we're paying attention on that door lock portion. The lock knob needs to fit up through its corresponding slot, so we're coming up nice and high. We'll try to get this aligned. Once you see that starting to protrude through, we're going to have to carefully start pressing this towards the door, aligning the door panel hooks with their corresponding ports on the door itself, and then pressing it in and down. Feels as though we're aligned. I can see everything looks good. Let's tap it down. Make your way all the way around the door panel, confirming it's properly secured up against the door. If it's sticking out anywhere, just readjust, and then once it's down, we'll continue on with the mounting hardware. For the mounting bolts, I'm starting inside of this port where the window switch housing is. This is where our 10mm headed mounting bolts will sit. It's very difficult to see. Go ahead and snug that up. Up and behind your inside door handle, we had our two 8mm headed mounting bolts. Start them in, snug them up. As far as that plastic cover, you want to start down at the bottom. You have two small locating tabs. Down along the bottom, we have our two mounting screws. Once you have that bolt in place, continue on with your plastic trim panel. Align the locking tabs with their corresponding slots and tap it into position. Now we can reattach our window switch to the wiring harness. Press it in, listen for a click. Let's align this and press it down into position. We're going to have to roll this in. You can see the angle I'm coming. Let's go ahead and start pressing this down to lock it in. There we are. Double check to make sure it's properly secured in place. It's back together. Let's test the functionality. The key's in the on position. Window goes down, window goes up. Perfect. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.